everyone. Welcome to the Throw Zone. I'm your host, Big Kev, and today we have a couple of different guests here. We have Grant, but you know him as Memes4Throwers, and we also have Beau from Beau Throws. We're going to cover the USATF Championships, and then we'll segue in to learn a little bit more about how these guys have created their channels and had a huge impact on throwing culture. So I just want to say thank you guys for coming on, and well, I'm excited to dive in.
Pleasure to be here, Kevin.
Yeah, thanks for having us, bud. Appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. But before we get rolling here, I just want to thank a couple of our show partners here at Throw Zone. This podcast is sponsored by Lincoln Microphones. They provide the microphones for our facility here. If you're in need of any custom microphone work, go check them out. I'll have the link in bio. They'll handle any type of custom microphone work or repair that you're interested in. And if you pay a Bitcoin, they do offer 50% off. And now I also would like to say thank you to Shubert Cattle and Farms, LLC. If you're in need of any type of beef, just send me a DM and I'll get you connected and we'll get a good deal on half a cow, a full cow, or whatever you need to get those gains this off season. And then finally, I'd like to thank Throws Pro for sponsoring this video. You could use discount code THROWZONE to save a little bit on some of the best equipment money can buy. This last couple of days has been a fantastic competition for the USATF National Championships. And so we started things off over on Thursday with the men's javelin. And now we had a big throw from Curtis Thompson. He threw 83.89, and that would be a qualifying mark. Beau, what did you have to say about that?
No, I mean, I think, if you tried to predict a winner in each of the throwing events for this weekend, I think for the javelin, it was a kind of a no-brainer going in, no disrespect to the field. But it just seems like, Curtis Thompson, when he goes to the USA's, he's going to win. It's almost like when, Kara Winger for that, she had like almost 2 decades, I feel like. When she was at USA's, Kara's going to win. She's just going to find a way. She's the best in the field. She's going to make it happen. And, Kurt has, carried the flag for U.S. men's javelin. It seems like ever since, he left Mississippi State and graduated from there. So him winning, I think you're looking at a series. He had a pretty decent series. He had 4 throws over 80 meters, 2 throws over 82. And he was never even pushed, though, either. So, I mean, he won by, just pretty over 5 meters. Actually, no, 6. That's good math, though. So, yeah, just completely dominated the event. And it looks like, Mark Minicello is going to probably go to Tokyo as well. He's got the world ranking and he finished 3rd.
Then we also have one of my former teammates, Dash Sermon. He had a 77.28 for second place. So that's, moving along for a great season for Dash. I was like, love to see the Huskers in there. Maybe I'll put a little bit of bias. Yeah. Then our bronze medalist for the championships for Jav, we have Mark Anthony. Came in through 76.81, and I believe, if my sources are correct, he is ranked 18th in world rankings, and so there's a good chance that he's going to make the world's team this year.
Yeah, he is definitely in. But he won a national title at Penn. Then he transfers to Georgia under Don Babbitt. Wins a national title at Georgia, I believe, too. I might have. Yeah, I think he did. I mixed it up. I'm sorry, my brain is a little broken. I was telling them all. I have a 1-month-old right now, so my sleep is a little all over the place. But yeah, it looks like Mark is going to get in on the world standard or the world ranking.
Yeah. Next event of the day, we have the women's hammer, and now we have a former world champion that started us off, Deanna Price, with a 78.53, and this will be her 5th world's team, actually. She got gold in 2019, bronze in 2023, and she's showing signs that it's going to be a huge year for her. I don't know about you guys, but Deanna is someone that I think of elite hammer throwers over the duration I've understood track and or know about the hammer. That's been a name that comes to mind.
Yeah, Deanna, I mean, she's been pretty consistent. I mean, I know that her Olympic showing wasn't as what she wanted it to be, but she's bounced back. Like, she had injuries to her feet, and she's bounced back, and I think she looks better than ever, honestly. And I just love the confidence she brings and the joy and the passion and love that she brings. And I think a lot of the young girls look up to that, and she's at a standard that I feel like everybody's trying to be at. So what a great representative that she is for the throws community, just through her hard work and just her joy and passion. I know that she loves reaching out to the younger generation of the sport, and I love seeing that she's always available for that. But yeah, I mean, fifth worlds, I mean, that's just amazing for her to accomplish that.
I completely agree. And the fifth worlds team, that's a pattern we're going to see a little bit more throughout this list. It's, you know, we're doing great. Like all these people in the U.S. are just killing it. But then the kind of sad part is how much longer are we going to see these names out there? So it's really important that we just, really appreciate what we have right now. So then we had the silver medalist over the women's hammer. We had Brooke Anderson. She had a big throw at 75-14, and now she was a 2023 world champion, and this is going to be her fourth world's team. And that's, still crazy. Like four worlds team is like such a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, that is just pretty nutty. And going in, she actually didn't even need to really compete at this event at all. She had the wild card actually due to the Continental Tour. She was the top ranked on that, but she still came out, comes in second, throws 75 meters. But who knows? She could have been buried in train a little bit because she knows she can, just go through the just get a mark out there. She's on the team. It doesn't matter. And she's the one to look out for Tokyo. She's won the event before, I think when it was in Eugene. And, she's going to be up there. There's like, 3, 4 ladies that, any given throw, they can put one out there. I know, our neighbor to the north, Cameron Rogers, is probably she's the queen of the event right now, and rightfully so. Olympic champ, world champ, and she just finds a way to get it done when it matters. But the women's hammer, women's shot, which we get later on, might be the two events where there are 3, 4 ladies any day. You don't know what's going to happen. So I'm really excited about this event, women's hammer, especially in the U.S. when how deep it is. Even taking 4 people, we could have taken another 2 people that deserve in some way to go.
Yeah, exactly. And now our bronze medalist from the champs, we have Rachel Richardson. She threw 74-57, and Rachel's been having a fantastic year. She's been killing it in the weight throw this year. I believe she had the longest throw in the world, if I remember correctly. And she was also episode 9 from the Throw Zone podcast. So it's really awesome to see someone that was on this show, a couple months ago and watching their progress, and she's absolutely killing it.
Absolutely great.
Yeah, and then a fun fact about her, if for those who haven't seen that episode, Rachel actually went into college not wanting to even do track, where she didn't even start throwing until I believe her junior year of high school. She tried throwing, and she wanted to go to Notre Dame, and she ended up getting in for school and was going to do marching band until her senior year. Her coach emailed the throws coach there and said, "Hey, this girl is a great athlete. She's made this much progress in a year. Is there a spot for her?" And then that's how that whole legacy started. So I think it's just really cool kind of going through what we've covered on this show in the past and kind of getting that understanding and background of where people have come from, especially in our sport where there's not a whole bunch of background on it. So it's just really cool to see someone, like a few years ago probably didn't know what a hammer was, and now she's on the biggest stage representing our country. So way to go, Rachel.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's just a testament to just going out and trying it. You never know. I mean, as a high school throws coach, you get so many kids out there that just doubt themselves before they even start. And, those are just testimonies of just going out and just having the vulnerability to be able to try something new. And look where it's gotten them. Honestly, you can go across the board on people who represent on this list who have won championships this past weekend, and they weren't even the tops in NCAAs or even the tops in their high schools. I mean, Chase. I mean, not jumping ahead, but Chase Jackson. Her story. She was a sprinter on a relay team and loved the javelin, and she was a glide shot putter. And now she's the best in the world. So just trust in that and trust in the ability. So I just think that's amazing for her and her accomplishments for sure. That's a great testimony.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, that's something we'll get into that too. Chase is having a phenomenal year as well. But, then kind of building on that, we headed over to women's javelin, and now we had our first place throw of 57-77 from Evie Bliss. And now that was not going to break the qualification threshold for the auto queue. That is pretty far right now. It's 6450 for those who didn't know, and
Which
our
seems a
silver
little
medal.
high for that event. I mean, I feel 64. I remember, Kara last year when she came out of retirement. I think that was similar. She needed that 64, 50, 64. She was just under 63 meters, and so she wasn't able to, to go to the Olympics. But 64.50. I mean, that almost won the Olympics last. I mean, that's a high number, but that's my personal opinion. But still,
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
that's
totally
that's
agree
a
with that.
that's a tough one. And I don't know if you guys saw it, but Ariana Ince had a post on her Instagram. Do you guys see that one?
Oh,
I think I know what you're talking about. I did glimpse it.
Yeah, it was just interesting to see what I mean, what her take was on that. And I had asked her, I reached out to be like, well, what are your thoughts on like how it can be better? And she had some interesting comments to talk about, just as regards to training and focusing on that. But yeah, I feel like across the board it's so hard, even just for us in America to be good at javelin. In the state of Washington where I'm at right now, like we're one of I think 16 or 17 states that actually has high school javelin, but I don't know how you can make that event better. I think that if you look overall across the board between the four disciplines, that's probably the lowest that we represent in the states.
yeah, no, it's kind of interesting on how the states are broken up to who has javelin and who doesn't, and I think that has a huge impact on the growth of like U.S. track and field. One thing you don't really see as much in is well, there's no hammer throw it pretty much anywhere. There's only a tiny
I
bit of
think Rhode
states that
Island and
allow
New
it.
York do the hammer. I'm pretty sure. I think Rhode Island. That's where I think Tarek came from, and they have a really good group up there.
Yeah,
But
I think
yeah,
Ohio does too, but I can't. Don't quote me on that. They at least did at one point. But one thing that I think kind of hides that fact is in the javelin, it's not really replaceable. Where the skill set to throw the javelin you see most similarly to like a softball throw or some kind of jumps event. But then for the hammer, a lot of these really great hammer throwers started off throwing the shot put, and now I know it's like not like it's all like this event's identical, but you kind of build that strength and skill set, and it's
there's
kind of transfer.
carryover certainly. Yeah,
Yeah. So then javelin's kind of this, their its own beast for lack of a better term, and so we don't have that spot to fill. And I think just with Hammer being able to take an athletic shot putter and show them how to do some turns and develop them that way, you can have a pretty good hammer thrower. But javelin is just like such a small pool in comparison.
yeah. It's usually a different athlete altogether. I mean, really, the javelin is a lot. Coaches talk about it's a runway event. It's almost a closer, shares more DNA to the long jump, you could say, than an actual traditional ball throw or a discus. But yeah, and also I think the other thing with the women's shot, I think you also need some years to develop. I think you need your thousands of throws, your years you're put in. So when you get to a meet like this, you can throw far and put it together. I think a lot of that these javelin throwers, they throw a few years of college and then that's it. And there's not a lot of development afterward, and it's just hard for them because obviously they have to go into the workforce and to do the training that goes along with it. It's there's a gap. So I think that's part of the reason as well.
Well, yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
why what
And then
Kara did
kind of
was so special for us to be able to witness that, for those who got to witness, because that's not very often that you can see someone to make for Olympics in the span that she did, and be in the longevity that she has done in her career. So even taking time off and then coming out of retirement to almost make another team, which is crazy.
Kara's definitely just built different in comparison to just any of the other elite athletes out there. So then we're also kind of hurt in the women's javelin that Maggie Malone Harden did not compete, and she's someone that competes at the top of the world stage pretty frequently. So not having her in that competition kind of made it anyone's competition. But Madison Wiltrout, she threw 56.46 to get second, and now she is ranked 30 in the world, so there's a good chance that she's going to be making it into the world's team this year.
Yeah, it does look like that. I remember looking on UNC's Instagram page. They basically like said like, oh, Madison is going to Tokyo. So I'm like, okay, well, if UNC's Instagram page says it, then that surely that's fit the print. So I think she's definitely going to be on the plane, not going to be on the bus to Tokyo. But yeah.
Yeah. And then we also have Sarah Blake. She was their bronze medalist in the javelin, the 55-80. And then we have kind of a special situation here. In fifth place, we had Maddie Harris, who's a great friend of mine. So shout out to Maddie. And she has a pretty good chance of making it to Worlds. She has a couple more meets she's going to be going to in Europe in the following week or so to try to rack up some points and make the team as well. So there's a good chance that she'll be filling in that spot as well. But then we're kind of heading over. I'd say probably the highlight of Thursday would definitely be the men's hammer. That's probably one of the more electric events. I don't know what you guys would say from, I guess, this whole meet. But it's pretty hard not to enjoy it when you're able to just watch Rudy just get after it, throw after throw. I can't remember what his average throw was, but it was just insane.
It was far. And his series was 77, 81, 47, 80, 85, 80, 41, 79, 24, 80, 78. So probably, you take out the first throw, which is 77. He's averaging over 80 meters of throw, which this is the best he's ever looked. He is just looking so good. Maybe it's the marriage effect. He did get married. So he's living that high life. He's living a beautiful life, beautiful wife. So he is just on fire right now, and I think we're looking at a serious contender to see an American male medal in the hammer at Worlds, and I don't think that's been done since Lance Deal in a major competition since the '96 Olympics.
Yeah, Rudy's just on a different level, man. He's so good and tuned into what he's doing. You can just tell, even just the way that he walks into the ring, just the confidence that he has. Yeah, good on you, good dude, like well deserved. Works super hard, super humble. But yeah, he had an amazing series for sure.
Yeah, and this will be his fifth Worlds team. And he was also another Throw Zone podcast. He was on episode 8, and that was one of our more popular episodes. So just from meeting with Rudy there, he's locked in. Like a lot of the episode we talked about, like the mental preparation, and that just he just seems unfazed. He's locked in. It's like when you do something every day, it just becomes easy to do. I think he's at that point where the same way you get out of bed, brush your teeth, and just do all these things, not thinking about
Or 80 meters, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's starting to be what 80 meters is to him. It's like he wakes up, walks outside, throws a hammer 80 meters, and then he's like, oh, okay, here we go.
Yeah, finishes his coffee. I think the other thing that wasn't really big for him was that he beat Katzberg, which I think everybody's just like, oh, Katzberg's going to come in, he's in the meet, he's going to roll because it's Ethan Katzberg, and rightfully so. He's the two Canadians are 1-1 in the hammer. Like Cameron and Katz, and he beat Katzberg at pre. So it shows like it's kind of like the Superman, Batman, do you bleed, and you know what I mean, like that. So he drew some blood on Ethan. He didn't think it was possible, but he did. So that's got to give us some confidence going to Tokyo, going against these guys that hey, we can take them. So I'd love to see it.
Yeah, and then kind of moving on here, and then even our silver medalist Trey Knight, 78-76. That man. Trey has been known as the mile split hero. He growing up being around his age group, whenever you would check mile split like the national rankings, Trey had every name, and he's pretty quiet on social media, so you can't just like look him up and see who this guy is. He's just this persona hidden by the mile split website with these huge numbers, and he's just had a fantastic year. And for those who weren't up to date about the NCAA season, Trey unfortunately had 3 fouls in the qualifying round for nationals at regionals this year. And what really just made this electric was Trey had 2 fouls going in prelims. And it was on that third throw that he launched I think it was around a 74-meter throw.
Yeah, got to make it exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, and bounced into that group. and then round 6 through that 78-76 to get second. And I think that's just so cool. And
And hit the
that's kind of what
standard.
it's all about. Yeah, and hit the
Uh-huh.
standard. Like all the lights turned on for that throw.
Yeah. I was even thinking through it. I think it was almost a blessing in disguise on his sake for making this team to foul out at regionals and just not worry about NCAAs, because you look at a lot of college athletes at this meet that did well in NCAAs or were competed in NCAAs, and it's a long season when you're doing indoor and outdoor, and a lot of the collegiate athletes, they just didn't have good meets. There were very few of them. Tarek still threw well, but some of the other across the other events too, they just had didn't perform like they could have. But you look at Trey. I mean, he might have been able to just train through it and rebuild a little bit of a base, just get his mind right, rest up a little bit, and he comes out super fresh and blasts almost 79 meters. So really cool to see. I mean, his coach, Dan Lane, legendary hammer coach, Coach Balaj Kiss, NCAA record holder, Olympic champion, I think from '96 I think '96 Olympic champion. So yeah, Trey Knight. I think a lot of people we're maybe surprised but not shocked that he's capable of this type of thing.
Yeah, plus Trey's from Washington, so he's got that extra juice. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh. Yeah, no, it's just part of the like competing, it only takes one throw, and let that be an example of what could be some people be super down about, or if that could even be like the season ender. Like how many guys would go in and have this vision of, oh, I'm gonna, make it to nationals, I'm gonna place high, and then have a bad day at regionals and then just shut it down for the year. So it's just a big testament to him and his training plan and his coaches and all those that are helping him out that it got him to where he is now. And then, and even passing our bronze medalist here, Daniel Howe, with a 77-28. That's no small throw either. It still is a stacked team.
Yeah, I mean, Daniel Hall is another guy. Just him and Rudy were, always have been top two in the United States, always on the team. And Daniel Hall hits that standard. And even other people in this meet, you got to give it up for Tanner Berg in fourth place. It's a 76.93 PB. Anytime you throw a PB at a championship meet, that is not easy to do.
Yeah, you have
So
to be happy with that.
him coming fourth, and he was in that third spot for a while, I want to say. Um,
I
looking
believe
at
so.
because they had a tiebreaker, and then Hall hit the 77-meter in the fourth round. But Tanner Berg, excellent meet. I mean, Tyler Williams threw well. Tarek, even he's the other guy, one of the only collegians that threw well. Just Tarek always that throws well. I don't think he's capable of having a bad hammer meet. Uh, just not his
Yeah,
DNA.
not allowed.
So yeah.
Yeah,
No,
it's a crazy like I love. I mean, sorry to cut you off, but like I just love. If you look top to bottom, like the finishers in our men's hammer, I mean, it's crazy to think Alex Young, who was an Olympian, finished ninth. Jordan Geis has always been pretty consistent, and Justin Stanford, who did really well last year. I mean, it's just amazing over the next couple of years as we prepare for the Olympic year. Like, you look at across these board, like top nine, even like all the guys, like there's enough in there that could potentially, you know, represent, and it's going to be exciting to see, some bust out things. I mean, Trey Knight, like, I mean, that was huge. That just is just getting started. The sky's the limit for that guy. He was born and raised to be a hammer thrower. You can just totally see, and with his confidence that he now has, like, who knows, like, what's going to happen. So, yeah, excited to see, these guys just show out in the next couple, comps that we have and in Tokyo, and then also just, in the next couple of years as we get up to 28 for sure.
yeah, and I also want to throw it out there that this would be Daniel's fourth Worlds team, so that's another person on there that just like these guys are just constantly making the team, and for the U.S. that's really tough to do. So you just got to keep in mind that they're throwing well enough to qualify and hit that standard, and they're throwing well enough to make it a tight competition when it counts. So even that, you have to really just be ready to go. So I think it's always a just good place to be for the U.S. and makes the sport definitely exciting to watch. Yeah, and now Friday, no throws. So we're moving on to Saturday now, and now this event, the auto qualifying was 67.50, which I feel like that number kind of seems like a lot, but when you have like Ramona with people just getting some absolutely juice throws out there, I don't know how that average is going to look, like what that qualifying number is going to do throughout the next couple of years. But first place we had Reggie Jaggers with a 66.85, so it was definitely a good day for him. So pretty happy to see him
Yeah,
make that list.
yeah, good to see him back on top. He had a, he had kind of the nightmare situation. I feel as if you're as an athlete at the Olympic trials, where he was in third place, and then Joe Brown bumped him on the last throw, moving us to fourth place, which is not where you want to be. So he's got to come back. I know, following him on Instagram, he's been dealing with some injuries, things like that, and he comes out today against a good field and just kind of puts it away early. I mean, he throws 66 meters on his third round, and then he has another 65 and another 66 in the last round. He was just the best thrower of the day, flat out. Just a really good showing from him, and deservingly, he's going to be representing the U.S. in Tokyo.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
Reggie J. He's the best left-hander in the business. That's for sure.
yeah, I believe the best left-handed discus thrower
I
like
think he is
ever.
the left-handed world record holder. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then this will be yeah. Yeah, he's coming in, and then second place Sam Mattis, 65.56, and this will be Sam's fourth Worlds team, and seeing like these many people making those back to back Worlds team is kind of crazy to me because I haven't really been in the game for throws that long. My sophomore year of high school, which would have been like 2016, 2017. I feel like is when a lot of these guys started making these teams, and that's when I really started paying attention. So all these guys making their like fourth or fifth team is like,
Yeah.
wow, that's that many already. Like, way to
Yeah.
go.
Sam has just he's kind of carried the flag. He's been one of those guys who carry the flag in U.S. throws and the discus as well. And he had I looked at his post throwing interview. He wasn't too satisfied with it, but the biggest thing was he qualified. He got on the team. But he had a decent series. Almost every throw was over 64 meters, and we know what he's capable of. Obviously, the Ramona, everybody has like your wind mark and then your stadium mark, but he's a guy who can compete at the highest level with them all.
Yeah, and then finally our bronze medalist here. I think this was a really awesome mark to see from Marcus Gustafson. Now he's had a crazy season. Like he's been improving steadily throughout the year, and he got third the 64.51. And he's also someone that is just a remarkable athlete. He was a D2 walk-on thrower, and now he's making the world's team. And I think that's just a testament to his willpower to make it happen. And it's also really inspirational to all the other D2 throwers out there to not think that, you're done after 4 years, that if you really want to make it, it's still possible.
Yeah, and he opened up with 56 meters. Which, I mean, I would take that throw, but for him, you imagine opening up at 56 meters when your PR is, he hit 69.70, and he doesn't let it phase him. He just says, okay, and then he gets, 63 in the next one. That buys him another few throws, and then puts it together on the last throw. So that, you know, the whole, roller coaster of emotions in that series just that's not easy to recover from, because a lot of people, if they do a bad first throw, I've been there. It's like, oh God, you hit the panic button, and he never did. So I mean, that's an incredible way to compete for him.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh
And then,
yeah.
I mean,
So
obviously
it's
he hit that
it's just awesome seeing
64.
that.
He hit that 64 in the last round. I mean, and if you have that ability to just kind of say, hey, man, I got nothing to lose and just let it fly. I mean, that's just the biggest thing as a competitor. And you love to see, someone at that level. Because, I mean, like you said, D2 thrower against a lot of these guys who are stacked up making world's teams. I mean, it's kind of intimidating, but to be able to clear your mind and just kind of go after it. I mean, it's just a testament of just how competitive, someone can be, which is awesome to see.
Yeah. And then yeah, there were some good marks there. Moving on to probably the grand finale of Saturday would have to probably be the woman shot put. It's
Outrageous
just
competition.
it's just crazy. Like we have all
Crazy.
these
Yeah.
events for that like are notable for throws, and it's just like turn on the TV and you're gonna see Chase Jackson just throwing ridiculously far. 2084. And now,
On
if you're
the opener.
familiar,
Yeah.
yeah, and if you're familiar with Chase's technique, she's doing the little bit of the Krauser slide or whatever you would call that. But this was just a regular wind up, and
Yeah.
there's a
I
couple.
saw it. Caught that.
Yeah, there's some post meet interviews with her, and she says she's just working on timing. And so imagine just like, oh yeah, we're working on timing today. We're chilling. Oh, 2084. Okay, that's not too bad for having a
She
chill
has
day
the world
today.
by. Remember that she's got the wild card, so she's doesn't need to do anything. She's probably training through it. I'd have to imagine. I imagine they're using this as an opportunity to hey, we could train through. We don't have to really peak for this. Yes, use it to our advantage. And she still comes out on the first throw, 2084, and she also did the first throw bomb at Ironwood. I think she hit the 2095 on her first throw there. So something about that first round, she just shuts it down. She's no muss, no, we're done. So she is really clicked on right now.
Oh yeah, and then this is also her fourth Worlds team, and now she is the 2022 and 2023 World Champion.
She's going for
And
the
so
three-peat,
she's
right?
going
I
for
mean,
the
yeah, going
three-peat.
for the
And
three-peat.
yeah, I don't have the data in front of me on this, but I can't imagine there's been very many three-peats in the women's shot or even
I
most
think
events recently.
Astrid Kumbernis did it, the German, in the 90s. I think she may have. I may be off. She won three, but I don't know if it was three consecutive. And I have to imagine Valerie Adams may have done it as well. 'Cause
Yeah,
I think she may have done it, but it's hard to do, obviously.
yeah, and she's in great company with that list.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. She's
Yeah,
going after. I know she's mentioned on Instagram about she had a quote in Track and Field News in an interview about how a lot of people talk about the clean world record, whatever you want to talk about in the shot put, but Val Adams 21.24 is her PR. So I think that's the mark. We haven't had a 21-meter female shot putter since 2012. It was Val Adams. And we haven't had a 70-footer. I was looking back at, it was like in the year 2000, I think. We have not had a 70-foot female shot putter.
yeah, and so that'll be really awesome to see. And even we kind of mentioned a little bit earlier. I know Grant did just about Chase is another person that wasn't a thrower their entire life, and just how she's just another person that found the event later on and just really stuck to it.
And moved from glide to rotation post college, and
Yeah.
is just every year she's just getting better and better. She's looking smoother and smoother, and now she just looks like she was kind of figuring out the rotation. Now she's like, okay, I'm a rotator now, and she's just looking so smooth through the ring, and just looks comfortable. I mean, her series so consistent. Her series, she had 4 throws over 2021. I don't know if she's had a series that locked in. So I'm really excited to what she could do at Worlds, and you throw in the other girls at Worlds that are going to also be throwing big throws as well. Just awesome to watch. Maybe my favorite event right now, women's shot.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, it's just awesome to see what she's doing and just leveling up, and everybody else is just, up in their game as well. It's awesome to see just across the board just how well represented we are in the States with the women's shot put. I mean, it's exciting to see. And I also just love just how well they all compete together. And just how they're all just almost best friends out there, and they still compete at a high level, and they just love being around each other. I think that's really awesome for the sport as well. So, but yeah, for sure. I mean, it's interesting to see, chasing that 21. I mean, I think she's going to get it, and it's going to be awesome to be able to see. But I think it just takes one to break that barrier, and then you're going to see another jump in numbers as well. So it's going to be cool to see that.
No, 100%. I'm looking forward to that. And then a good friend of Chase's, Maggie Ewan, has made her fourth Worlds team now with the 1994. She's also was on episode 15, the Throw Zone. So if you haven't
There's a
checked that
pattern
one
here,
out,
Kevin. They come on your show, they make the team, man.
you know what? That might be a stat we look into, because we've had a couple of people this year that have been on the podcast and then have thrown ridiculously far.
That's part of the training. You got to come up on the Throw Zone podcast.
Yeah, maybe. So, if you're trying to break through, Chase, feel free to hop on the podcast here. But no, it's just really awesome. And Maggie's been having a great time. She's been having a great season. And it's really awesome to see her come back from an injury and be competing at this high of a level. And even she gets a lot of comments on her posts from what I've seen. And people have been trying to critique her technique. And I saw the other day, she was like, I'm just happy my foot feels better. Leave me alone. all we're thinking about right now is, oh, this is not causing pain. Let's go. And
Yeah,
people are trying to critique that. So it's really cool to not only see like how much she's progressing, but how much she's like how real she is on social media.
yeah. If
That
she
she's
would
not.
just listen
Yeah,
to Armchair Quarterback 2125 on Instagram, I mean, she would definitely throw. It's like, come on, it's like,
yeah,
she's one of the greatest all-around throwers that the United States has ever had. Like, let's let her do her thing. Let her cook. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
and
actually talked to Maggie about that, and just kind of asked her just because I was just curious. And, she just, talked about it's a balance check for her. Like she just sets it up. It's just a good balance check for her. And, whatever works. Like, it's like, you don't need to critique that. I mean, those coaches out there that maybe had that one thrower that threw 40 feet in the shot put, like, hey, like, good on you. But, you know, you don't need to critique these ones who are the best in the world. They have coaches that are doing that for them. So,
yeah, and all the Instagram coaches out there that are like, oh, you're not doing step 5 of the throw correctly. Like, do that, it'll boost your throw. And it's like, thanks, buddy. You think I would have thought either to do that or not to do that at this point. So, no, that's always really kind of cool to see. And then we have here our third place finisher, Jessica Ramsey, 1956. And this will be her first Worlds team.
yeah, she did make the Olympic. She won the Olympic trials for Tokyo. That was her PR, and she had a baby, so she's got that mom strength now. She's recovering. I mean, I can't imagine her coming back. I know I just have a child myself recently. I've seen my wife, and she's has to, Jessica's had to go through all through that, through the training to come back. And this is her post baby PB, the PB. No, post baby P. Yeah, post
Yeah,
P.
you're
you got
right.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You
Okay,
got it.
this is her
PPPB.
PB.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, just makes the team. I mean, just really excited. I mean, the only problem with this is like you want to root for all these ladies, and if one does well, that's going to bump the other one down. And it's like you see her do well, and then you see Jessica Woodard had a great meet. She gets knocked down to fifth, and she's off the team. It's like you almost want everybody to just go. Uh, but it just, I mean, this competition was just incredible, and Jessica Ramsey just, I think her Instagram handle was like Chef Ramsey, so she's
Yep.
cooking, so good,
Yeah,
and awesome to
Yeah,
watch.
Chef Ramsey's in the kitchen. She's cooking right now.
Yeah, right.
for
And
sure.
yeah, no, that's just phenomenal. Especially coming back from having a baby and being able to just compete at this level. There's so many things going on. I cannot imagine what that looks like, and just more power to her for that. But and then our fourth place here, we have Jada Ross, and Jada is no stranger to having some big throws. 1933.
Gator Ross the boss.
Exactly. And now with Chase having that wild card, I'm pretty sure we're able to have our 4 people go
Certainly.
to two worlds this year. And Jada is a great person to be in that 4th spot. I think when Jada's ready to, flip a switch, I think that she has 20 meters with her name on it again. And having someone like that, I think is going to be U.S. women's shot put. It's just going to be a crazy competition, especially with the other people in the world right now, like Sarah Mitten's having a great year. And
Jessica Schilder,
Jessica, yep.
Maddie
exactly.
Weiss. I
Yeah.
mean, you have the Olympic champion. I mean, she's kind of been in the background. Yemisia Wulia, she's kind of
Yeah.
like, she is the Olympic champ, guys. Let's not forget that. I mean, they're legit, like, maybe 5 ladies that, you look at that 21-meter barrier, who's going to do it first? I think someone's definitely going to do it. But,
Mhm.
I mean, there are a few ladies up there that can do it. I mean, and you never know. I mean, who knows? Jada Ross, she could catch one. She's a, 20-meter PR. I mean, she could put one together. Who knows? I mean, it is
Yeah,
just that,
her
it's been done before.
her social media, she's been posting a lot of her lifts recently, and she's been hitting some huge like box squats and numbers like that you wouldn't expect her to hit. And it's one of those with having that strength base and the way she's throwing right now, you can't rule out just line it up just right, get a nice little stretch reflex. And maybe we might just see the greatest women's shot put competition ever. Short time.
Yeah, it'll be like the Doha men in 2019 was at the ladies in Tokyo in 2025.
Yeah,
Like I said, women's
Oh
shot
yeah.
is my
See
favorite
it.
event right now.
Let's see it.
yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, and so I think all this also has been building up hype to Sunday. And so we started off, we had women's discus, and now the qualifying for that was 64.50. But never fear, Val Alma is here. She threw
Yes.
71.45 to make her fifth world's team. And when you think of like that auto qualifying standard, you think, okay, that's like a really far throw. And then you see Val just like, put like just about 7 meters on that. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I even, was thinking about it. It's just like why she's not on like, all these, obviously, USATF, they have the posters and they market certain athletes. I mean, I get it. But I mean, Valerie Allen needs to be right up there. You look at what she's doing. I mean, she is really putting a resume together of the best female discus thrower of all time. When you look at championships, I mean, if she does not have the world championship yet, that is the one thing she is missing. And
Yep.
it's like, it's been out of her grasp. Like in the 2023 World Championships, Ben Fing had a 3 meter PR to beat her, and then in 2020, well, that was the Eugene. In 2023, Loggy hit a 4 meter PR to beat her, and she still threw 69 meters, I think, in a stadium for that. Budapest World Championship. So this is the one meet I think she really wants to get. She's never won the World Championship. She's a two-time Olympic champ. She has everything she has, and she's not playing around this year. She has not lost since that World Championship in 2023. She's been undefeated since then.
She's definitely thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
And I think that's a great segue over into Loggy with her 64.86 to take the silver. And now she's another wild card since she won Worlds in 2023, like we just covered. And this would be Loggy's fourth Worlds team as well. So it's just all these people have, fourth and fifth. There's just so many of them, which just really shows like the strength that the U.S. has in the throws right now.
Yeah. And it's good to see, Loggy put a pretty decent series. I mean, she only had 2 legal throws, but the throws were 63.75, 64.86. Because I think, looking back to what was it, the big trials last year, when didn't really go so well for her. She didn't make the team. So she comes this year, even though she does have the wild card, but just to get in the meet and push some throws in the sector, it's like, okay, I'm back. I'm still here. So really good to see her, and just one of the coolest people. Just really, really fun to watch. Just has a joy throwing what she's throwing far. So really great that we have the Olympic champion and the world champion. I don't think the United States has ever had that situation with, having 2 separate women like that, and they're throwing right now. So really cool.
Yeah, it's cool to see great ambassadors for the program. So, but there's other people who are coming off injuries. Like Rachel Dinkoff, Hazelwood. I mean, they'll bounce back. That I feel like our women's discus is also in good hands. With people who are going to make a showing, in the as they get stronger in the next couple of years. But yeah, the women's side of throws is awesome to see. I mean, it's a joy to be able to watch just them compete as well. But yeah, I mean, excited again to see who's gonna come out and throw far.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then even just kind of bringing up like first Worlds team, we have Gabby Jacobs. She was the third place finisher, 63.33, and this will be her first time out there. So
going clutch mode on the final round. Just another. There was a lot. I almost want to do a post. There were a lot of final round big throws at this meet for the throwers across all the events.
A ton.
Yeah, at least 5 or 6. But like they hit on the final throw, they clutched up and made the team. And this was an example of that. Even the Shelby Franken fourth, her 61-meter, that was on her last throw. And she's within the rankings, so she should go to the World. So both of them went clutch mode the final round and made it happen. But just seeing the video of Gabby Jacobs just run around in pure joy and elation when she made the team and hit the throw. That's why you love the sport. So just amazing to watch that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Shelby Frank, hopefully making her first Worlds team. That's also awesome. Like you talked about, a lot of the younger people are building a good resume. And then, in a couple of years, it might be just like the other people we've covered. Maybe this is their first of 5 or first of 4 Worlds teams. And now Shelby, I actually have a really funny story about her. Growing up, she was from the Midwest and was in the same region that I was in for the USATF like summer meets, that type of
that's
thing.
Nice.
And she competed against my sister. And at that meet, I don't think I was there. This is just what I've been told. Shelby just shows up and no one really knows who anyone is in these summer meets. jumps out, has her boots on, takes her boots off, takes a couple quick little stretches, throws a really far throw, wins the region, gets back in, puts her boots back on, and heads out. And so after I've heard that story a half a dozen times, and so whenever I see Shelby throw, I just kind of cracks me up just to see like, years ago I was so nonchalant and just how she's continued to improve. So
Your sister has nightmares still, so.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that gets brought up every once in a while when they see that name come across. So
Yeah.
but no, good for her. I'm happy to see her making big strides. And then now I would say probably my favorite event, probably because was my event, but we have a men's shot put, and I don't know if I have any bias here or if it was probably like the most amazing event of the week. We had Tunde with a 22:47. Like, what an absolute huge PR to, hit in the 6th round, like we just talked about earlier. Another one of those guys to qualify for his second Worlds team, coming off the bronze finish in 2023, where we had the USA had the 1-2-3 finish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can't save it for the 7th round. So, I mean, just unbelievable. Just this is what he does. I don't think he's been healthy most of the year. I remember seeing a video of him. He was doing some snatches off a box of like almost 300 pounds, but he was almost moving it like a broomstick. It was just so twitchy. And I mean, he was a guy you thought, oh, maybe he could, make the team. But then when you saw these other people, start putting these 22:30s, like, oh, he's really got to put one together. And then he blasts almost 22:50. Like, really,
Yeah.
Tunde? Come on. Just like, my goodness.
Yeah, and then second place we have P Train 22:35, also a throw zone guy. Episode 3,
Gotta make it.
One of the guys that helped me get this going. So it's really just awesome to see Peyton do well. And
He's
I've had
another guy like Rudy. He got married, right? So he's got the boost, the marriage boost. I mean, that's helping him. That's
exactly. So all you other guys out there, if you wanted to know what that X factor is, you might have to talk to these guys.
Yeah, get married and get on the Throw Zone podcast. Sounds like that's the sauce right there.
Yeah. I think that might be the missing equation for some guys out there. So, it's really awesome to see Peyton do that. And Peyton wasn't a Cornhusker by any means, but Peyton being out here and being able to train with him when I threw, it's just really awesome to see people and see all the work that came in behind it. All the injuries, rehabbing from injuries, and just how, it was just really awesome to follow Peyton. So, way to go, P-Train. And this will be his second Worlds team with a 5th place finish back in 2023. And I think another finisher at this competition that a lot of people, I wouldn't say didn't expect, because I know a whole bunch of people had him on this list, but I don't think people expected the order for this list. It's just so unpredictable. But we have Trip. Trip has had a phenomenal year. I was right there over at the World Shot Put Series in Des Moines and got to see Trip throw what would have been a 22 plus in that competition, which is unofficial marks. So, it didn't count that way. But to see Trip throw that, then I'm like, oh, okay, Trip's for real this year. Like he's not messing around, and he moved coaches and has a new area to train in, and
he's got a full sleeve now on the arm. The beard's looking sick. I mean, he's got the look down. He's and I think what you're talking about the direct relays, the World Shot Put Series, I feel that's when a switch just hit, like it just connected, and he had the unofficial 73-foot throw, and I think this was actually his first official 73-foot throw. But I mean, more than anybody, Kevin, what this guy's capable of.
Oh yeah, and what a great performer! When people get tight and get tense, and it's a big deal. That's just kind of like Trip's, I'm going to go relax and just get a good throw off now. So it's just, I think the World Shot Put Series really helped Trip out a lot. I think that crazy atmosphere and how much energy it had, I think it helped him get through that mental barrier to hit that 22 mark. And I think Trip's just going to keep on going. And I think he's just a great competitor. And I'm very just happy to see he made the team. and happy to see where he's going with that. And this will be his second Worlds team after 2022.
Yeah, and just a great series from him too. I mean, he had one, two, three, four throws over 21.84. I mean, I think his PB coming into this year was probably, I don't know if it was even that. And he's obviously now surpassed 22, and he's at 22.29. Just incredible improvement, not just on, what your best mark is, but his consistency is, he's consistently throwing past his old PB, which is not easy to do.
And then we have here a fourth place honorable mention. This is with full respect.
I know.
Joe with his 2207. And what world does 2207 get fourth place is just beyond
First
me.
time it's a 22-meter throw, I think, has not made the U.S. team.
Yeah, and
That's crazy.
it's crazy. But Joe is, just a phenomenal athlete, a phenomenal competitor. Just getting bumped from second to fourth in round six, like that just stinks. Like like everyone that's competed just like it happens. That's just the thing about competing. But I think he was definitely one of the everyone's like favorites going into.
He was probably my
making the
pick to
team.
win, honestly, to win the meet.
Yeah.
I had Joe, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, if you
Yeah,
were
It's
to
just what he
look at
does.
it,
It's
just
like,
at the start list, you would have looked at it, you probably have him at the top. Peyton probably falling to second right there. But yeah, I would not have thought that he would not be making a world's team. That's it's kind of a weird thing, and but it just shows just the strength of again our men's shot put competitors. It's just strong. I mean, even Roger Steen, who's capable of it, places fifth. That's still crazy to think about too. But yeah, a lot of
yeah.
dudes that are capable of showing out. So
I didn't
Yeah,
realize, like, Jordan Geis in the sixth round, I mean, he threw 70 feet. We had six guys over 70 feet in this meet.
Mhm.
I was looking back at the results, like, I completely forgot, Geis in the sixth round hit at 70 feet 10. Um,
and he's another 22-meter
or
guy.
70 feet zero. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's just like you got to be kidding me. Like, and this is without Ryan Krauser competing at this meet. This is how deep the U.S. men's shot is. I mean, I tip my cap to all these people in the field that are throwing here. I mean, honestly, if it was me, I would probably like look to a different citizenship. I'd be like, I'm not throwing against these guys. Give me, you know, give me Canadians, some other country, because this is just a war zone. This U.S. med shot, but on the other side of it, if you do make the team, it really means something. So just
right.
unbelievable.
Yeah, and the fact of this crazy competition all came down to round six when big throws were happening. I actually didn't even get to watch round six. My phone died, and I was plugging it in, and I was sitting on the couch, and Peyton's brother Max texted me and was like, "Did you just see what happened?" And so I replied back with full confidence, "Yeah, that's crazy." And then I checked the results. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, what did I miss?"
Yeah.
And then I was just kind of shaken up for a second there. I was like trying to capture what happened, and it was crazy. And then going to work on Monday, a lot of my coworkers don't know anything about throws, and I was like, "You guys missed out on probably one of the coolest competitions." And trying to like explain like one of the greatest shot putters in world history did not make the U.S. team, and he didn't throw bad. Like he threw really well.
That's the thing. Yeah, you
And
can't even have an off. It's not the old expression. So you can't have an off day. Like now, it's like you can't have even a slightly off day because he went 2207. It was like he was leading most of the competition for a while. Like, oh, Joe's on the team. Like that's and other people. It almost was like not a dead competition, but it was like waiting for like these people to kind of put one together. And then it just when it was like boiling water. Like once it hit the boiling point, it went off.
yeah, no, I just really enjoyed watching that. It's so exciting. I know like women's shot put, it's just really competitive and people are throwing really far, but it's just like watching men's shot put. Like we all have in our minds there might be a handful of guys out there that we have in a world of their own, but like that barrier of who we expect that was going to win or place top three every time, like that margin of really good to consistently medaling is slowly caving in on itself. And it's not because the ceiling's caving in, it's the floor's going up.
Yeah, and just a crazy
Well, yeah.
setup,
I mean,
Joe. I mean, Joe has.
think about where shot put think about what shot put was just even like 2 years ago, and like what was making world teams. But now we're seeing throws, from these guys, and even young, still young in their career too. I mean, like Tripp is, he's still young in his professional career, and like, you look at
26.
the list, yeah, and you look at the other guys who are in that list. Jordan Geis just graduated what, two years ago, and so he's still young in his professional career. I mean, like, it's just sky's the limit for a lot of these guys. And I mean, because like, how old is Joe? I mean, Joe, not that like he's like out of his realm, but he's still competing at a high level at the age he is, and just think about where we're gonna go. I mean, it's exciting times right now. So, I just wish we got more airtime instead of, watching lap 40, the whatever K that race is.
Yeah,
Lap
100%.
45 is a crucial lap, though. You really, it's, it's the make or break lap,
That's true.
lap 45.
So I apologize to the
Yeah,
distance runner about lap 45.
yeah, yeah. Good for that guy though. But yeah, then just kind of reflecting on this championship, I think it was just electric. I think every day had something crazy happening. Like it wasn't just like a these three guys made it again or these three gals made it again. It went as expected, and it was just people were popping off big marks consistently.
Yeah.
Like I think
Final
this is
round
probably my
throws. In
most
every event, it seemed like
yeah.
there was a final round toss that made the team and bumped somebody out, moved somebody up. Just, people showed up. I mean, it's so hard to do as well, to PB and to hit a big throw in the final round of these championship meets. And it happened several times over.
Oh, 100%. And then even just this whole like how the wild cards have been working out and having, four wild cards just to make the depth at Worlds even crazier. Like
Yeah.
it's I don't know, it's so competitive, but even I think men's shot has a chance of maybe even like a 1, 2, 3, 4. And now there are a lot of really strong competitors out there, but I think this group of guys has that X factor behind them that they might make something crazy happen.
Yeah, Fabry did go 2280 something this weekend, so he's starting to find his rhythm a little bit.
Yeah, that's
Hopefully,
one of them.
yeah, he's a scary dude, and hopefully Ryan is somewhat healthy to be the Ryan that we know. So he
Yeah.
was, obviously he didn't compete, so really, hopefully he's healing up and is ready to go in Tokyo.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, and it's just like Fabry with his big throws, and there's a couple other guys out there too that are on that list of people to be on the lookout for. But it's I don't know. I'm hoping we get another like Doha 2019 men's shot put this year. Like
Yeah,
I want to be able to talk about this to a whole bunch of people that don't know throws repeatedly because it's stuck in my head and be just full of excitement for months. And just like Doha 2019, that was just crazy. I think we have a good chance of seeing that in the women's shot, the men's shot, hammer men and women.
yeah.
This might be
Men's
a
discus
great year.
too. I mean, men's discus as well. We have multiple 72-meter throwers just right out
Yeah.
there right now. Men's discus is another event that's just kind of it's broken the number in the event. Like 70 meters is not what 70 meters used to be.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of the throwflation or whatever people have called it.
Yeah,
Uh,
trackflation, I think. Yeah,
and so it kind of leads me to the thought, is this just what having all these technological advances in training and rehab is doing? Or is this just like, once in a lifetime or, generational talent that's coming across and all the stars are aligning and we won't see people like this for a long time? Or is this just the future of what the sport has to offer? But,
yeah. I would say, I mean, you also take a look at a few things. I mean, I think you have technique improvements as well. I mean, you look at back at some of the early 2000 shot put. I remember when I was in high school, I look at some of their techniques now. I'm like, they were good, but it's like, oh, they could, they don't look as good as the guys of today. They're not as smooth. But that's just like, any sport. I think you look at the NBA, you look at the shooters of today, you look at, we have guys shooting 3 point, shots at a clip that were not done before. I know it's funny, like I know from my era, at least when I was throwing, I feel like, people that now that you're able to tape the hands, I feel like, oh yeah, that adds another meter. I don't think it does, but it helps with injury. That is maybe another thing, but I don't think Joe even tapes his hand that much, or even Ryan. Ryan doesn't tape his hand. I don't think they really go above the hand. But I think there's better coaching. There's access to knowledge. The barrier to get into the sport and learn the sport is the lowest it's ever been to to the internet. I think, from my opinion, I think they're just better. I think the kids today are better. You look at the high school kids, you look at the technique. They pass the eye test. I just look at it like they're just looking better. So that's my opinion.
Percent, and it's really cool to see that
Yeah,
like the sport's
I,
in good
I would,
hands
yeah,
there,
I would agree
just
with that.
like the U.S. team.
Yeah, I would
Yeah,
agree with that, like 100%. I mean, if you look across the board, just like even this, just training, you see kids who are like, yeah, I just watch YouTube videos, and there's so much abundant out there that are, they can just train themselves. I just think to see exposure that the throws have gotten like since 2020, I think, even the pandemic, as much as that kind of reset everything, I think there's a lot of things that were good that came out of it. People kind of focus on a lot of that stuff. I think also just kind of like, as you look at, athletes that kind of, you know, focus on one sport. You have those kids that focus on volleyball and those club teams. I think you got a lot of those kids that are also switching and understanding and seeing the opportunity that they have if they focus like on throwing or even, whatever track and field event that might be. I think there's more of that on there. And I just think that kids are just built differently. I mean, that's just the biggest thing too. And they're taking it more serious. It's not a sport where back when I was in school, in high school, it was just a secondary thing that you did just to stay in shape for the fall season of football. I just think it's a lot of that where they're taking it seriously. They're training differently. There's better technique to emulate out there that you are seeing from these professionals, and they're also more accessible. I mean, before, like it's not like I could reach out to, you know, Adam Nielsen and ask him, over the phone, like what's happening. You can shoot a DM to some of these guys, and you can screen record videos, and so there's a lot more out there that it's helping to shape. So I think we were just seeing just the start of what could potentially happen, across the board, and it's exciting time to be able to see it because there's a lot of young talent that's out there. I mean, I think about Julia Tunks who's out there throwing. She's young and just hasn't even started her collegiate career as a discus thrower in Canada, and just people who are just behind, just are young throwers that are going to make a splash here over the next couple of years. So, but yeah, I think we're in good hands, and we're going to see a lot of great things. And I think, the pillars of Krauser, Allman, Tom Walsh, like, Deanna Price, like leading the charge, Valerie Adams, as you mentioned, just leading the charge for that. I think that they're leaving a legacy, which is awesome to see for the future.
yeah, and even like this week, we had 9 people that are making the team on their like even more than 9. We're probably just with by the time rankings come in, we're probably in like the 11, 12 range, if not more than that, by the time all the newcomers are added in. And so the combination of having the 4 and 5 time world championship team qualifiers, and then we have the sprinkling in the younger dogs in there, I think that's a really good sign. That just means that as those more seasoned veterans phase out, these younger guys are going to be bumping up and taking their spots and hopefully repeating the cycle.
Yeah, it's important to get that experience as well to, go to these major competitions because I mean, just you hear a lot of these athletes talk about these, the world championships, the Olympic championships. It's a completely different schedule and the way the meet is run. And some people just aren't used to it. So I think the second time they go on, they perform better. I think you can even see Valerie Allman, like her first Olympics, I think in Rio, she didn't really have as great of a meet that she wanted to. She learned from it, got better, come around to the Tokyo Olympics, wins it. I think that's pretty common for other throwers to learn from the mistakes that they maybe should have done that come back stronger for their second world team.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like
But
look at
yeah, I would
Chase.
say
Like
this
she
was a
didn't she
great
didn't.
competition.
But yeah, like I was just sorry. Like look at Chase. Like she didn't even make the Olympic team in 2020. And then she bounced back, and like now she's just in tops of the world. I mean, it's unbelievable just to see, just how competitive these throwers are.
And then what do you guys think? What do you think would be the highlight of this meet?
Personally, for me, I think I'm biased. I was more of a shot putter, so I think you always are kind of biased, even if you don't want to say it, to the event you did. I think top to bottom, both the shot competitions were incredible. Just the high end and the quality what it took to make the team. You had people getting moved up, people getting moved down. Even though every event had moments, I feel the both the shot competitions had the most depth, I would say.
Yeah, what do you think,
Yeah, I
Lee?
mean,
For what was your highlight of
yeah,
the meet?
honestly, like I mean, I could, I could jump on that bandwagon, but honestly, I would probably give my highlight to, to Reggie. His bounce back to where he was. You kind of people forgot about him, honestly, and didn't even know he was around, and all of a sudden, like he just came out on a mission, and tossed, 66-85, which was a huge throw, for someone who hasn't, competed a ton, just been training for the last couple of months. I think that was probably the biggest surprise, for me. I knew the shot put would be a show out, but not to take, throw anything away, but to the other on the flip side of it, if someone would have told me that Joe wasn't going to make a world's team, that was a surprise to me too. So, and nothing against him at all. Like we've talked about, like he had a great showing. It was just everybody else, just those guys just had huge throws on that sixth round, like last throw magic, I guess they would
Oh
say.
yeah, yeah. I feel like a lot of sports, if someone like doesn't make a team or doesn't like whatever circumstance, I think a lot of the community kind of like bashes on them, like, oh, like this person, like didn't meet expectations. But one thing that's been kind of cool with the throws community is everyone's been talking about and posting like what happened in men's shot, like this is insane, but it's not like a critical like that's like what happened, but more of a like, oh my gosh, like where's the sport going? Like it's just everything is up, and I don't think anyone said anything in a way to Joe that has been like mean or just like harsh for what he's done, but more of like a respect. Like this guy's had an unbelievable run. Like he, just looking at what he's done last World Championships, he's been a two-time gold medalist, a two-time
He's
silver
medaled
medalist,
in
and
every major championship since
Yeah,
2015. I mean, that's
yeah,
yeah,
just insane. Krauser can't even
yeah,
say
it's
that.
crazy.
a
Yeah,
hundred
He's medaled
percent,
in every major championship since over 10 years, just about.
yeah,
yeah.
and I
And so
can't,
I
I
think
can't,
everyone's tipping their hat.
yeah, I can't speak for Joe, but I mean, as a competitor myself, I think Joe would look back on this and be super proud. And if no one's, I mean, I'm sure people have mentioned to it, but I mean, these guys aren't throwing as far as they're throwing if Joe, is not doing what he was doing in the past couple years. So, I think it's a testament to what he's done and set the bar and the level, for these guys to be able to strive to know that they can throw as far as they've been throwing. So, yeah, Joe, I know you're going to listen to this, man. So, appreciate all you've done and what you're doing for the sport. I know you're not done yet, but it's a big testament to why we're having comps like this now, which is awesome.
100%. But yeah, I all in all, great competition, great marks, sixth round magic everywhere. Maybe a little bit of Hayward magic. We'll never know. Even the throw zone X factor out there.
Road Zone X
Maybe
Factor
Yeah,
exceeds
for
Hayward
sure.
Magic, I think. Yeah.
That's in it.
maybe that's part of the formula here. But this wouldn't be a throw zone podcast if we didn't get to kind of learn a little bit more about your story, Beau, and your story, Grant, of what got you interested in the throws and what even led you to create your platform. So I guess kind of just starting off here with Beau, you're the first guy to post anything newsworthy in the throws. Even like big profiles I see are tagging you in there. Like their official pages are like, okay,
Yeah,
this
I
is throwing related. Time to add Beau to the post. We gotta make it official.
yeah, I didn't even realize what collaborations meant. I think a few months ago. It's like they do it like they just like share their story. It's like, oh, I'm actually on the post. Okay. No, but I mean, just it's just something I was a former thrower myself. I'm just going back. I think the first time I picked up a shot put, I was heading into eighth grade. My dad just pretty much brought me like I thought it was like a cannonball. Like, what is this thing? And it was like a 8 pound. I think it was the right shot. I think you're supposed to throw a 4 kilo shot in eighth grade. He brought me an 8 pound. Of course, you would get an 8 pound shot. It's the wrong shot. But and just he told me, he threw it a little bit in high school. He was good, and he taught me the O'Brien technique. He always called the O'Brien. And I was like, people are like, oh, you're doing the glide. I'm like, what's the glide? This is the O'Brien. But obviously, if you know much about the sport, the pair O'Brien and then the glide. So it's mutually it's the same thing, interchangeable. Um, But that's how I got into it, and I was just really lucky myself. I was in an area, and I was in Tampa, Florida. That's where I was born and raised. And I had another thrower a few years ahead of me. His name was Garrett Johnson, and he was a two-time NCAA champion. He was ended up being a Rhodes Scholar. He went to Florida State, and he was the first person I saw rotating or spinning. I was like, "What is this black magic I'm looking at here?" And he was throwing farther than anybody, so I'm like, I knew that. I was like, I gotta do that. So
Yeah,
that,
I'll
you
have
know,
what he's having.
yeah, I didn't throw nearly as far, but I just knew that was the way. So pretty much, just fast forward a little bit. I, went to compete in college, started at Florida State, transferred over to Florida. A lot of good athletes there, a lot of fun times. I was an SEC champion in the shot put somehow, um, uh, All-American indoor. And I think my one claim to fame is that I'm 2-0. I'm undefeated against Joe Kovacs. I think on my tombstone, that's what I'm going to put. Undefeated against Joe Kovacs. 2-0. You go World Athletics. It's not, the marks are not good. I'll give you that. He was a freshman and I was a senior at Florida. But
He
when he was
probably
at Penn
still can't
State,
sleep at night because of that.
Yeah,
it really is
he's
what
losing sleep,
motivated
man.
him, I think, to become a world champion. Yeah, it is the true motivator behind all of his success. Um, but yeah, you know, just always have been passionate about the throws, been loving for it. I remember in high school, I was in the long and strong throwers journals. Um, fast forward, I think, to when I started this page. I think it was around COVID. I realized there wasn't a lot of like platforms or, even the track outlets. I'm not going to, no need to name. They do a good job for the sport, but there's a lot of events, and a lot of them just don't have a throwers background or understand the event, and they don't cover it really well. And I thought I can maybe try give a show at this. That's kind of how it started. And I mean, yeah, really just trying to stay up to date with it and just trying to provide a good source of news that's accurate, sometimes fun, sometimes the jokes miss. I don't know. But yeah, just having a really good time doing it.
Yeah, and then someone whose jokes never miss. We have Grant with Memes4Throwers. I don't think I've ever seen a meme that I haven't at least chuckled at, and that's the lower end of the funny scale is a good chuckle on that. So, no, I always enjoy sending them or receiving them. So, Grant, how did you get started in the throws?
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, so I was a baseball player growing up all my life, and my dad was a semi-pro baseball player, and kind of thought that I was going to go that route. And honestly, I just got burnt out by the time I got to high school. The high school back then was a three-year high school, so when I was entering in my sophomore year, I went to the spring baseball meeting and talked about two-a-days, like 5:30, start times, like 8 o'clock finish times, and I just was like, man, I just come off playing football and basketball. I just didn't want to do it, and so tough conversation with my dad was, I think I'm done playing baseball. I don't love it anymore. And my dad gave me two options, like you do track or you get a job. And I didn't want to get a job, so I did track just to hang out with my buddies. And my claim to fame, Beau, is Ben Lindsay was a thrower at Linwood High School. He was a senior when I was a sophomore in high school, and I think he threw a couple Olympic trials through at the University of Washington. Was, I think, the first 200-foot plus high school discus thrower in Washington. And my claim to fame was my guys put me behind him right after he threw 205, like hyping him down, being like, "Oh, this guy's not very good. Like you're gonna show him up as a sophomore." And he threw 205, and then I threw it after him doing a standing throw, which I'm pretty sure went 36 feet. And they had pulled the tape for a good 10 minutes while my buddies were laughing at me. But yeah, so long story short, like I fell in love with it after my senior year. My senior year, I had a throws coach who just kind of instilled passion in me. His name is Bill Stangl. Good dude, still coaching, still talk to him today. He threw over at the University of Washington, hammer thrower from California. But like I wanted to go and throw at college, but I did not do the grades and studying very well in high school. I got put on academic probation really, really fast, and then I got saved, and became a Christian, and then got into coaching through Young Life, and I loved it. I found out that I enjoyed coaching and seeing kids finding passion and discovering that aha moment than I would find in my own endeavors as an athlete. So yeah, I've been coaching since then. pre-cell phones, if you want to date how old I am, so that's how long I've been coaching. I had a couple stints in college, but at some small NAIA schools, but just love high school throwing. So yeah, but started the page because I had younger throwers that were coming up. Again, towards like this, like 2019, I believe, is when I started the page, right before the pandemic, just to relate to my younger freshman kids that I was coaching, because memes were kind of the way to go, and it just blew up. And the rest is history, as they say. But
Yeah.
yeah,
So then
just
you
blessed
had
to be a
no
part of it.
intention of Yeah, so then you had no intention of having like the size of your platform that you have today, and it was just purely you're like, oh, I'm gonna reach out to the younger kids. I want to make some memes, see what happens, and then boom.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the
Yeah.
the the show in town was Sector Throws. I don't know if you guys remember them, and I mean shout out to them because they inspired me. They were making memes, and then my kid, like some of my guys were like, "Oh, you're funny like that. Like, what do you think these are funny?" And I was like, I think I can make a couple memes, and so I just made a couple of them, and yeah, and all of a sudden I was like blowing up, and before I was even in the game for about a year, I was almost pushing 10,000 followers, which was crazy, and then followed by Ryan Krauser, which was a huge highlight, and then Joe, and like all these professionals, and but yeah, it's been a journey. I love it to be a part of it. Just so people are excited. And it's cool because, not for the recognition for myself, but just to give the opportunities for parents to connect with their kids. I've had countless, DMs from parents just thanking me because now they can send memes to their kids to relate and they can laugh at it, and that means a lot to me to be able to connect those two together. But yeah, I had no intention to be what they quote unquote say Instagram famous, which I really don't think I am, but just being a part of it and being a part of the culture. But yeah, I mean, Beau does a great job. Honestly, just I love everything he puts out, and I'm a huge fan of what you do, man.
Likewise.
Yeah, no, Bo is always posting right after things are happening. I think half the time I don't even bother watching meets or looking for live results. I just wait for Bo to post and I watch the videos that way. So I appreciate the work that you do, and I do you have any idea how many hours a week that you put in if you had to ballpark it on average?
It's been
So
it's
yeah.
not a lot. Well, it's less right now because, like I said, I have newborn. I'm generally tired
Oh yeah, no.
during the day. Only so much coffee I can, put in my body to keep me up. But yeah, I mean, you get systems, right? You kind of have templates and things like you get, and you can also like, there's so many other things I'd want to do as well, but I don't know, just like the time and, just the time and just the work and, the energy it will take to do. So, and that's one thing as well. Like sometimes you could curate a post and put all this energy and things like, oh, maybe like this it's good, and like it gets no traction, and then you just post like, here's Joe mentioned 770, and it's just it's like, so you kind of have to find a balance because I still want to do those posts that are actually I think are valuable and cool, and not just posting like a bench clip or that I know
Oh no,
will do well. But I like to watch a big bench more than anybody. Don't get me wrong,
oh
but
100%.
I think there are other things as well within the sport that should be celebrated and known. I try to also try to do a good job balancing because I think everybody has biases and like I got to make sure I'll try to make sure I'm not posting too much just shot put. There is the javelin, there is the there's always try to do try to have an equal amount women's throwing, men's throwing, all the events. I mean, there was a guy that just threw 91 meters. I haven't even posted about in Brazil. He has I don't know if you saw that. A Brazilian guy broke the South American record through 91 meters. Uh, haven't posted about that yet even. So trust me, javelin throwers. I will try to do my best to get to it.
Yeah, no. That's kind of another topic of like my page is fairly new. We just started up beginning of the year, but that's another thing. You put all this time and effort into a post, you're like, oh, these guys are gonna love this, and then you
Yeah,
post, and it's like after like an hour, it's like, oh, we have 4 people who liked them, and
refresh,
it's just it's
refresh.
just it's just me, my parents, my fiance. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
heck, at least I know who's in my corner. But No, that's
Yeah.
another thing that I always thought was really funny. I'm very fortunate that my fiance Haley's been helping a lot with coming up with designs and helping me with ideas for posting. And she doesn't have a track background, so this is all new to her, and
It's
she's
probably
super
good that she
into it.
doesn't. It's probably like a
Yeah,
bad.
for
That's
sure.
probably that's a super.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has. There's little bias, and I remember we got to have media passes and go to I guess the first ever World Shot Put Series at Drake, and we had media credentials. We were on the infield. We
Oh
got to
man,
talk to everyone,
That's
talk to all the
awesome, man.
coaches, and it was a great time. And she spent all this time editing together a reel, and she had the music synced up. It probably took her 3 hours to sync the music up to perfection, and she posted it, and it got some traction. And she was like, "Okay, we gotta make another post." So I'm like, "I got this." I post a reel of trip throwing. It is my most
Yeah.
popular post. It's Tripp's
Nice.
73-foot throw, and that really made her mad. And it's still kind of a sore subject because you look on like
yeah,
what you spend all this time on, and then what you just kind of post, and it's
Yeah.
just crazy how like the algorithm works and just what people are interested in.
yeah,
Yeah,
So
that's for sure.
the highs and lows, but
absolutely, totally relate to that.
yeah, and then another thing, just saying again that I really appreciate both of you guys being on here. I think both of your platforms are some of the most influential for not only just social media but kind of the culture of the sport. Where you go to see what's going on, gotta check Beau. Okay, just got done working the 9 to 5. It's a rough day. I'm gonna go laugh at something about shot put because I enjoy shot put. Scroll, oh, Memes4Throwers made 3 or 4 posts, you know, or even just a lot of like the inspirational quotes and other clips even posting on your stories. So I think
Mm.
between that, like you guys are kind of like almost like the heartbeat of the community. And so just kind of looking at that, I just want to say thank you from the overall throws community. I'm not exactly an ambassador. I'm kind of self-appointed for that, but I just want to say thanks again for everything that you guys have been doing. And kind of just like wrapping things up here, we've talked a lot about things we really enjoyed about the sport and things about this competition that have went really well. But what do you guys think could really just grow the sport in terms of competition or just overall like getting more views or make it easily accessible or what that might be? So as we start off with Beau.
Yeah, I mean that's a loaded question.
Oh
I
yeah,
think that's the,
100%.
the billion dollar question everybody's trying to figure out. I mean, everybody's trying to reinvent the wheel. Obviously, you follow Grand Slam track, you see what's going on there. That's, it seems they're having some issues with that. Loved, what I've seen with the Bull Shot Put series. I love, just changing the format out. I think that's one of the benefits you have of field events. You even see Athlos, who is the like Sahanian funded, woman only track event they have in New York every year. They're going to do long jump with Tara Davis in Times Square. And that's kind of one of the benefits you have, like I was saying with field events, is you don't have to be at track and have 400-meter of an oval of space. You can, but especially with the shot put, I think is one of the with throwing events, you can really, kind of push it to a street format. You can host it almost, anywhere. Uh, you know, and I think seeing those when the crowds are up close when they actually get a sense of it, I think that's really, really, really exciting. I think one thing I liked about the World Shot Put Series format is it gives them, gives me multiple opportunities to cheer for a thrower. I think sometimes in a standard 6 throw format, you might just be able to cheer for a thrower one time when they hit that mark. But in the, when you keep, raising this bar, you can have multiple moments to cheer for the same thrower, and you create all these little kind of kind of micro type of parts of things that you get. So I like that. In terms of I saw that question question you had about how to make it more exciting. I think I think you just have to start trying different things. I know the one thing that nobody, I'm not a big fan of, but obviously, like, you have gambling to some extent. I know I'm not a big, gambler on myself, but all the big sport events do have gambling. I think, like just looking outside the box. I mean, I know, like, I have even friends that are, talked about it, how could you integrate, track into betting odds and things like that. Maybe they're just degenerate gamblers. I don't know.
Yeah, like is Ryan going over or under 23?
No, seriously, like this is a lot of people are like that. I mean, the most bet, the Super Bowl is, it's number one most watched sporting event, and it's also the most bet sporting event. I don't think that's a coincidence. I think when people put money on things, they become more passionate, they pay more attention. It's just, a part of it. Like I said, I'm not really huge on it. I don't love that. It kind of takes the joy, sucks the fun out of it almost. But I don't know. You almost have to just try different things. That's the billion-dollar question. How to, you know, make throws cool. Make
Yeah.
track cool. I mean, that's pretty much what you're trying to do.
Yeah, and just kind of building on what you said about street shot put, that's actually one of the big light bulb moments for me that got me interested in throwing. Like I did it, but like I could tell you what a shot putter looked like a pro shot putter. I remember my dad like was talking about it, and I just like it was just like imagine like a really buff basketball player, like big, tall, and just huge arms. Probably can't shoot a basketball. That's what a pro shot putter looks like. And I was like, oh yeah, totally. And my sophomore year, I ended up making it to KU relays down in Lawrence, Kansas, and it was right after this was like spring of 2017. And it just so happened that this guy named Ryan was throwing, and my coach told me I should go watch. And I was tired. We just got to the hotel. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll go. And they closed downtown Lawrence, Kansas, and they had street shot put, and it was kind of like a beer garden around it, so just about like beer and cigarettes. And so it was like a huge like party type vibe, and there's people everywhere. I don't know who all knew about throwing. And then I look, and there's just this guy wearing all this Nike gear, and he's just throwing it really, really far. And my coach was like, "That's the Olympic record holder. That's the like, doing all these great things. Just won the Olympics." And I was like, "Wow, way to go for that guy!"
Yeah,
Like
is that
like
good?
not yeah. It's one of those like you see him throw really far, and it's just like, "Oh, that's cool." And then they gave Ryan a huge check. I'll have to attach the picture. But I had the most awkward bro handshake with Ryan, and I hope he doesn't remember that. But I got to take a picture with him, and I was just like, "Dang, like this is pretty cool." And I kind of built my interest up, and I was just like, "Oh, this guy's really good." And that kind of was where my interest came from. And then, like you said, with the World Shot Put series, how the energy's different. One thing that they didn't really cover online is they actually let the crowd come hang out and get autographs as soon as the competition was finished. So as soon as I believe that first one Roger won, and as soon as it was done, they just let the crowds come down the stairs. They had like security, of course, and all that. But you were able to go over and buy shirts, have them signed. And so all the different throwers had just lines and lines of people. Like, of course, Ryan's was like, like an hour long. But everyone had this huge line. They were signing autographs, taking photos. And it was like, what kind of event can you go look up, like, go to, see someone that you admire and kind of like your hero in that sport, and then afterwards just go say hi and say, "Hey, good job! I really appreciate you." And then like it was very like personal, and I thought that was just so cool that the athletes kind of get that recognition of like, yeah, they're one of the best in the world, like you deserve this. And then the younger audience is able to come in and see people they look up to, and I think it just like works in both ways. Then Grant, what do you think the sport needs to grow? I know that as you said, you've been coaching for a long time, so you've definitely seen a lot of different views and different types of meets, and just with all the content you've posted and created, I know you're definitely in the know of what people want and what people don't want.
Yeah, like, I know it's hard just because of high school stadiums and how they're built. First of all, like when you have the throws area that's like 3, 4 miles away from the stadium, like no one's actually going to go out there and check out the throws. So that's what's hard about it, And sometimes people only
100%.
see like they don't, and then obviously the exposure that we don't get on TV when they show the Olympics or whatever that might be. And I know I joke about like the 45th lap of a race and all that stuff, but that's legitimate when we only get like to see like two throws and people don't understand,
Hmm.
like, so it's just exposure. So how do we change that? I think Ryan, developing the World Shot Put series is awesome. I think Throws Town has been a great, part for the throws as well. Big throws, like, even just in the wind and just seeing just huge throws being launched, I think is awesome to be able to see. I think just specialty events like that just showcases the throws. And honestly, like, a t-shirt, some swag, and some barbecue, I think will just bring out, throwers to come out and and do that. I just think the exposure is huge for, what can happen for the sport, and dare I say, world athletics, maybe a weight man's relay. I mean, I feel like USA could probably represent pretty hard on that, as well, to kind of make it fun as well. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, as far as I think it's just airtime and just allowing us to be able to do that. I love that I Show Speed came out and was hanging out with Alekna. I think that really was awesome to kind of
Oh
give
yeah.
another different exposure to that whole thing. So I think it's more as we get like these younger guys who are like into, becoming more influencers and getting the influencers out. I think it's going to help but we just have to have opportunities for these guys to come out and invite them out to be a part of it. I'd love to see, you know, some of these influencers come out and try to throw a shot put, or even, you know, some sort of a online, series of just, Joe Schmo versus, you know, Tunde, like, or
Oh
whoever,
yeah.
and just kind of show like
Yeah.
how hard it would be to do that. And I think, give opportunities for these guys to showcase themselves, and opportunities for people to be like, wow, that's super hard. And I think that is the key to that. But it's just finding opportunities for that to happen, and the platforms for that to be about, for to come about, is also hard. But it's not hard. I mean, honestly, it's not hard. And like I said, like, you just throw a cookout, everybody's gonna be there for sure.
Yeah. No, you mentioned just like having like the average guy come out and compete. I don't know if you guys are familiar with a lot of the strongman stuff that's going on, but back in 2019 they had the world's like strongest man history on History Channel, and they had Eddie Hall, Brian Shaw, Robert Oberst, and Nick Best, and they went and did a lot of different historical, like they would go see a legendary strong man and they try to replicate some of the things they do. But for every episode they have the cameraman, they call him like the average guy, come out and try to do it. And so they would have a guy who's probably like 135 pounds come out and it's like, hey, we're gonna do like the Denny Stones. Can you like show us what that looks like? And you see the guy like fighting for his life, trying to break it off the ground, and it doesn't move. And then Brian walks over, grabs it, and just like picks it up, like, oh, okay, I'm gonna move this over here now. And so I think having that would be kind of cool. Like imagine you get picked from the crowd. It's like, all right, we have that guy. You're throwing discus. Select us up next. What can we do here? So we can see. I think that'd be kind of fun too.
Yeah, that was the funny thing about the speed stream with the length. I know like speed will challenge like Olympic champ. He's challenging Noah Lyles to a race at his event, and he found out real fast in the discus like, oh, this is not going to work. This is not.
Yeah, no,
This is not going to. Yeah, I got to leave this guy alone. This is like a dude.
even the like historic words of how far do you throw the little one? Yeah,
Yeah,
like and I was like, I haven't done that in a while, but like probably like 100. And then like the look on his face after that,
yeah, yeah.
no,
It's time to go.
that's yeah, it's like, all right, let's go pick on some other event today. But no, I think that's great. I think the throws has a lot of room to grow, and I think with like content creators like you guys, it's going to be trending that way. So hopefully we can continue on seeing some growth in the throws. But yeah, but we're kind of run out of time. This is a longer episode for the throw zone, but we had a lot of important things to cover, and we got two guests on today. So if anything, we're getting like twice the content as normal.
I just want to say one thing,
Oh
man. I
yeah, go right
appreciate what
ahead.
you're doing, man. I appreciate what you're doing, man. And the opportunities that you've given us, but I feel like it's awesome that you're giving opportunities for these throwers to share their stories, to be able to do that. It's super hard to be able to get started in the grind that you go through it. So I just want to encourage you to keep doing what you're doing. And even if you get those 4 likes, at least you're getting 4 likes, man. But I think what you're doing is awesome for the sport. Keep allowing these throwers and these newbies and old heads to even come on and share their experiences. And you're part of that too, man. Don't cut yourself short. You're part of making the sport where it could potentially be. So I appreciate what you're doing for sure.
Yeah, well, thank you.
And
But
yeah, absolutely, Kevin. I just want to echo what Grant's saying. I mean, I know it is to make everything you do look as easy as it is. It's not easy. It takes a lot of work, and there's a lot of editing and a lot of just energy. from your life to do this and to give back to the throws community. So just thank you. Like I said, I think you reached out to me about it, I was like 100%. Like, yes, this whatever is, for the throws community, I'm just all for. In terms of giving it to them.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Beau. I appreciate that. Yeah. So that's all for this week's episode here. Really appreciate you guys being able to come on again. And so make sure we, hop on our Instagram, give a follow to Memes4Throwers, Beau Throws. If you're not following those guys, you must be new. So here you go. I'm, throwing you an alley oop pass.
And follow the throws up.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Follow the
follow
throw
throw
zone.
zone.
You'll get a PR if you go on the show.
For sure.
Exactly.
And get married. And get married.
Yeah, that's the dynamic duo right there. So, come on the throw zone, get married, throw some PRs. But yeah, feel free to check us out on YouTube, Spotify, whatever streaming platform. We're covering all those areas. And feel free to comment whatever ideas that you want covered on the throw zone, or even if you have some guest suggestions. But that's all for this week's episode. Thanks again, everyone, and we'll be ready for the next one.
Thanks for having me.